We're a chartered accountancy practice. We specialise in supporting tech and digital businesses, not only in the northeast of England, but through London and the rest of the UK as well. What I'm going to start with quickly is not what are benefits, but actually what's the minimum. So if anybody's trying to tell you this stuff is actually good for you, these are the legal minimums for you. So salary-wise, if you're age 23 or over, you can expect £8.91 per hour. Wow, that's the national living wage, which gives you about £17,500 on what would generally be a full-time type contract. If you're working 5 days out of 7, you're entitled to 5.6 weeks, which mathematics tells us is 28 days, which includes bank holidays as well. So it's basically your bank holidays plus 4 weeks holiday. And also, if you're that age and earning that kind of salary, then you would be auto-enrolled into a company pension scheme. Auto-enrolment is the clue there. You're automatically enrolled. You can pull out, but why would you? Because it's free money from your employer, and they have to contribute 3%. You would contribute 5% there. So what we're looking for is what can the employer offer over and above that. I think particularly as you're going through your career, look for opportunities. It's not all about the cash. To me, I know at different times in your life, kind of cash becomes more and less important. But look for the right culture and the right environment, the right kind of support in terms of developing your career and your own knowledge and skills going forward. Do they seem to be a supportive organisation? Do they put a lot of focus on training, not just technical training, but personal training as well, the softer skills? How do their salaries compare to market rates? Do a little bit of research. So, you know, someone's offering £60,000, brilliant, but if everybody else in the market's getting 90, maybe not quite so brilliant. Is your salary topped up with any bonus or commission schemes? Do you get extra holidays? This is a nice kind of cheap one that's not a taxable benefit to you at all. So maybe they want you to work hard, but you know, give you time off to play hard and recharge your batteries as well. Will they put more money into your pension? Might not feel important when you're 25, but believe me, by the time you get to my age, it starts to become more and more important. And the more that you put in early, the better things are. Other lifestyle benefits: do you get pizza? Do you have a beer on a Friday afternoon? Do you get a charity day off to go and pick litter on the beach or do whatever it is you want? And how does that tie in with their own corporate social responsibility kind of things? And finally, particularly relevant in this day and age, do they have remote and flexible working policies? Not that many people want to wander in, clock in at a minute to 9 o'clock, work through till 5 o'clock, pick up and go home to watch Jack and Ori or whatever. Flexibility in your work patterns and where you can work as well. And finally, moving on to share options. So particularly with the tech business, and I know not every business here is purely tech, but we're looking for tech people here. The offering of shares or share options is a good thing. For staff, sometimes an organisation can't quite hit the heights from a salary point of view, but offering shares or share options can give you the potential in the future to earn an awful lot more money. So first of all, what's the difference? If you're offered a scheme where you purchase or are given shares, then that's it. You get the shares there and then you become a shareholder with whatever rights are associated with those shares. If you're offered options, is what the English word actually is. You have an option to buy shares in the future, but at a pre-agreed price. Okay, so it's entirely down to you. It's your option. You can buy them or not, depending on how things go. Well, why would you or why wouldn't you? First of all, let's step back and look at the type of schemes that there are for shares and share options. There are what are called approved schemes, and there are unapproved schemes. Unapproved doesn't mean illegal, it just means that there are no real tax benefits associated with them. So if you're offered shares in an unapproved scheme, there's value of their shares, you will pay tax on the value of those shares. Approved schemes come with basically HMRC approval, which means there are tax advantages in them. And the key one for smaller organisations is what's called an EMI scheme. That's a share option scheme where the value is pre-agreed with HMRC. You are offered options that you can buy shares in the future, but at the value approved and agreed now. So it might be that the value of the share is agreed at £1 now, and you have to pay £1 for them, but 3 years down the line, when you're offered to buy them, they might be worth £3 at that point. You're still buying for £1. Yeah, and there's no tax consequences at that moment in time. The real benefit of buying shares, of course, is when you sell them potentially, and very often share options are associated with businesses that are going to sell. Share option schemes are put there to benefit the business by being a retention factor for key staff. So it's what EMI actually stands for, as an enterprise management incentive, is to incentivize you to stay and actually deliver on what they believe you can deliver to that organisation. And we see some people that can, potentially earn quite a lot of money from a share option scheme. Sometimes they are what are called exit-only schemes. So in effect, the option is to buy and sell the shares on the same day when the business is sold. That means you don't actually have to fork out any cash in practice for the shares up front, and it kind of takes away the risk of actually buying the shares and then watching them kind of nosedive in terms of value again going forward. There's also a soft benefit in being offered options or shares, in that it helps you with your own ownership in terms of not only just your own role, but with the organisation that you're working with as well. I think any organisation that offers share options or share schemes is a real progressive organisation to work for, and I would look very, very closely at the benefits that organisation can bring to the table for you. So an absolute lightning run through that. I think in terms of benefits, the days of being offered a Ferrari are pretty well gone. First of all, it doesn't fit with people's corporate social responsibility. It's I suppose the average of a Ferrari is a bit of a climate killer. Secondly, for company cars, you will get taxed to the hill. It's almost pointless actually taking a car on these days unless it's a purely electrical car. So get your order in for a Tesla, everybody. Even other things such as medical insurances, other insurances, that kind of thing, tend to come with a tax bill associated. It's not to say they're not any good, because they are if you particularly want them. But watch out for benefits that are given to you, such as maybe membership of a gym. That might be taxable, but it's a benefit that you might not use as well. In which case, you're just paying tax on something that is of no benefit to you. Make sure that don't use benefits as the driver to accept a job, but be aware of them, because very often it kind of underlines how the employer is going to treat you overall, not just today when you join on, but in the future. And it demonstrates how they're looking at engaging and retaining the key employees for you. I'm pretty well done. Are there any questions?
Thanks for that, Dave. You can stop sharing your screen at this point as well. That was great. I think it's really good for people to understand the opportunities, and they hear these words about like shares and option schemes and that kind of thing, but not understanding actually what it could mean for them and what the practical benefits could be as well. I think really good for some of our exhibitors that are here today as well. So Dave, if anybody wants to get in touch with you and find out more information, what's the best way for them to do that?
If you go on the Blu Sky website, which I'm desperately trying to get up because my mouse is being a little bit technical with me. There we go, there's some contact details there. So that's my email address, that's my phone number. If you look on blusky.co.uk, there's a few blogs there around this topic.
Fantastic, that's great stuff. Thanks, Dave, much appreciated.